If it's undercovered, underreported, or a waste of time, you can be sure we'll be heard. Nothing is off limits.
Welcome to Broad Street Radio.
Welcome to Broad Street Radio. I'm Michael Morris. Today, so we haven't done this show in, Nate, how long has it been? Like 2 months?
4.
4 months. So we've been super busy. So we wanted to stack the cards today. I brought two of my buddies in, Shawn Brown and Andrew Ames. Boys, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
The pressure is really, I had to spend money to get Shawn in here. The pressure is really on you guys because we haven't done a show in 4 months and people are hanging on. They were waiting. This is like the penultimate episode. Do you feel nervous?
Absolutely. I'm scared to death.
First of all, I'm just going to say this. Shawn Brown, nobody dislikes Shawn Brown, and I don't understand why. Everywhere we go, everyone's like, he's such a sweetheart. He's a great guy. I want the person that doesn't like you to come on the show.
There's probably a list somewhere.
It's a great introduction. Andrew, thanks for coming on since you don't like Shawn.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, boys, I want to get into the subject matter today since nobody likes media anymore. We are all, would we say that we're all in the media sphere at some point, right? We help clients get results for their businesses and all that stuff and using digital platforms, TV, radio, billboards, all that, right? That's fair to say?
Yep.
So the new media outlets are all dying. The BuzzFeeds, the Insider, all that. First of all, Andrew, I'll start with you. What do you classify new media as? To you, not the public. What do you think when you think new media?
I mean, new media in my mind is, is really old media that is transformed themselves. You know, the old newspapers that have shifted over, into other realms, and hey, we're the greatest thing since sliced bread. So, BuzzFeed, like you just mentioned. I mean,
BuzzFeed is just the newspaper online that you have to pay money for.
Right.
Shawn, you've been in enough meetings with me where you've heard me say that a lot of these things are the shits and they don't make money for the client. They make money for the person selling it. By the way, do you like when I do that? Do you like when I get on my soapbox about it? Because you always seem to be smiling about it.
Always. I love hearing the truth.
What I think is funny about it is Shawn and I, we were actually in a meeting, was it 2 Wednesdays ago? And we're having a conversation. The guy's asking a lot of really great questions. And then he asks us questions about like the digital world. So you guys are experts in the digital world. That's fair to say, right? When you look at the digital world, how do you explain it to people? Because it seems like people think they know about advertising in the digital world. Do they actually know what they're talking about? It's okay. Not that many people are listening. You can be honest.
No, nobody knows what they're talking about most of the time. And even the people that are selling the digital stuff don't know what they're talking about most of the time.
So go on about that. Because I know what you're saying, but I want you to explain what you mean.
Most salespeople are taught to sell a product a specific way to a specific audience. And they took the job and believe in what they're selling, but they don't understand the actual technical aspects or how it impacts a business owner from a technical perspective. They just sell a product. And not every product works for every business. Not every business needs every product. And the people just, they get hurt by it. And then what ends up happening is it's just a cycle of pain and fear and lack of trust. And then the next sales guy comes in and does the same thing over and over again, and people just continue to make mistakes. But he's different,
right? Because this guy's a little more charming. He'll say, well, those guys, they didn't know what they were doing.
He's got a really cool buzzword that nobody else has, which is not accurate. So,
Andrew, how many times do you walk in after somebody has just imploded somebody's business and then you're there to tell them that you could fix it?
Well, honestly, it happens, but usually what I try to do is just start by introducing myself and really try to start by just having a conversation, finding out more about them, and learning more about what they want to accomplish rather than trying to just stuff something down their throats.
There was a phrase, so when I worked in corporate radio, then family-owned radio, it was actually the other way around. You would go to somebody and they say, I've tried radio and it doesn't work. Like that was a common thing. So you're trying to convince them you need to buy this product, even though they've had a bad experience. So then when you're younger, because typically they hire you out of college, you don't know what you're doing anyway, you learn from your boss who got promoted because his boss got promoted, and that boss either got fired or left or went to another place. So then you think, well, this will all just trickle down. All this knowledge will be here. My boss, that is the director of sales for the whole company, essentially the vice president, was an accounting guy. So his thing when he didn't understand was just go sell spots, man. Just go do that. That's the most frustrating thing because both of you have been in that situation where a company's like, dude, just sell the product. That is your job, right? The pressure's on you because I need a paycheck. So they don't put the client's needs first. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely.
So when you look at new media was struggling until venture capital came in and, Silicon Valley said, we'll pump all this money into it. And the government pumped money into it to just keep it solvent, to keep it going. All it is ad sales. It's billboard tiles, it's skyscrapers, all that other stuff. And that's what Facebook was. So everybody thought Facebook was this thing to connect us all. It's not. It's a huge advertising mechanism. And their numbers are falling off and have been. Everybody's numbers are falling off, and it is affecting radio, TV, billboard as well because everybody bought the new media. And when the new media fails, it's like all media fails. So I'm going to go to you, Shawn, and I'm going to say, what is your thought when somebody says that to you that nothing works anymore? Is there something that works anymore?
There's always something that works, but the perception of the business owner or whoever's buying it doesn't understand what's supposed to happen when something works or doesn't work. They just look at one thing or somebody tells them it doesn't work, so they believe it. And it's just it's a problem of misinformation when it comes to how things are actually built or how they're supposed to work.
I'm so glad you said that because I don't know if I've ever said this on the show when we talk about media in general. I'm just going to tell you how it works. If you do a campaign, people will say, I want to try something. So anytime someone says they want to try something, I always tell them, fuck right off, we're not doing it, right? We're not trying anything. So we're not trying to learn to swim or row a boat. If you want results, you have to look at 12 months. I don't care if you start in January or start in June. 12 months, where do you want to be? Because now we're setting the expectation that this is where you want to be, I'll get you there. If you can't get a 3-to-1 return on something, it means the thing that you're buying won't work, and it won't work in the first 120 days. At that point, you can quit. You can make adjustments or you can quit. But all of us, whenever we're working with a client, they're putting us kind of on notice, like, I'm going to give it a try. And then you go home and you can't sleep at night because you're like, I have 30 days to prove this works. But it's impossible. It might work right away, and then it might die because nobody made adjustments. It might crack at 91 days, and they only gave you 60 to do it. If you want something to work, take it any relationship you have, right? Your marriage. You don't go, I'm going to marry you. But in 30 days, if this doesn't go the way I want, I'm going to get out of it, right? We don't do that. But we do that with marketing campaigns. So people buy the big shiny thing because their buddies do it or that's what everybody else is doing without having an expectation of what this is supposed to be, right? So whenever Shawn and I have gone into a meeting, and Andrew, you'll see it too. We go into a meeting, what is it you want? I don't care what your budget is. Tell me what you want, and I'll tell you how to get there. If you quit, I don't care. Don't call me back. I will work with you. We're holding hands through this whole thing. That's how it should be done. But as Shawn was saying, you have 20 to 30-year-olds who don't understand the product that they're selling. I don't care if you're selling shoes. We all understand shoes, but we don't know the value of what's a good shoe, what's a bad shoe it is. That's what I have to sell. That's the wrong way to do it, and that's why these new media things are dying. Traditional media is dying because people aren't watching TV. They've changed their behavioral pattern because they got pushed to go to YouTube and read online articles and subscribe. Well, if it's all the same shit over and over again, it's boring. It's like the end of the Truman Show. Remember that? The end of the Truman Show when he waves goodbye, everybody's been tuning in. The most salient point of that is the security guards that go, well, let's see what else is on, and they change the channel. That's what we do for a living, is someone is constantly going to change the channel if we don't have their attention. And that's the thing that I think bothers me is like whenever we're talking to somebody, both of you guys are in the digital space, and I'll talk to somebody about digital and say, well, that shit doesn't work. How do you know? Because no one asks the right question that says, what is it you want? It's what I have. This is what I have. I want you to buy it.
But why is that fear response of people wanting something so fast? Why does it happen now?
Well, to me, I think we all.
I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because people come in and they sell them something and tell them it's going to take 6 to 12 months. And then they're 2 years into it and they've wasted all this money and they found out that whatever they bought didn't work.
Okay, let me flip it around.
Now they're freaked out.
That's perfect. Let me flip it around. I'm the customer. I need help to get revenue up. What do I need to ask you? Shouldn't I know what to ask you? Not about the day-to-day, how does this function? I'm setting an expectation. I'm only going to give you so much time. Shouldn't I also be given a directive and say, it takes this much time to do this? I think people ignore that step because they just want the sale.
They do ignore the step, but so many people coach their salespeople to tell them it's going to take forever to get this so that they can have a sustained revenue for a long period of time without results.
Right. And
then just go to the next person, sell it again. And then what happens is these guys get hurt and then fear sets in, and then those people don't want to make that decision again and don't want to make that step forward, which means they stop moving forward. And if they stop moving forward, then they paralyze themselves with fear and they fail. Because they can't trust anybody anymore.
I agree with that. Go ahead, Andrew. You
Yeah,
look
I
like
would
you
just
got a
say,
firecracker
yeah,
up your
no,
ass.
I was just to add to what Shawn said. I think a lot of times they're not aware of, really, the expectations that have been put forth have not been realistic. And, maybe that person needs to sell something, so they're selling it at a price point that isn't going to, give that type of return. And the client, to Shawn's point, the client is unaware of, how to go about seeing, knowing what resources are available to show them what type of results are out there and what's realistic versus unrealistic. And, because they've bought 2 or 3 different times from 2 to 3 different individuals, they're just perplexed.
People don't know. I mean, real customer yesterday, real guy calls me yesterday and says, I need to figure out what to do with my stuff. I don't know what's going on. I'm broke. So what do we do? Like, do you have reporting? Didn't realize he's got reporting. I go into the reporting. In 90 days, his product is a $1,200 to $1,500 product. I'm not sure what his profit margins are yet, but it's $1,500, let's say. He got 6 phone calls in 90 days. So if he has a 100% closing ratio, actually, he spent about $8,000 in 3 months. Even if he has a 100% closing ratio, he still lost money. But he didn't know that because he didn't know to go into his reporting. I mean, that kind of stuff happens every day. Another guy I talked to yesterday said, send me your reporting for your Google ads, for your Facebook ads. Because they're like, we don't know what to do with our money. Like, well, which one's performing, which one's not, what's your cost per call, what's your close ratio on these things? They have no clue. It's like I was speaking Chinese. The report they sent over was somebody typing in an email that you got this many clicks, you got this many calls, or you got this many conversions. And it was literally just typed in an email. No Google Analytics, no real reporting. It was just typed. So they got to trust that, obviously. But it was very obvious that all their conversions and their clicks came from Facebook, and they got 0 from Google. So that was a really quick, based off of this data, if it's accurate, take the $800 a month you're spending in Google and move it over into the $500 you're spending in Facebook, because that's where the productivity is. Now, typically Facebook isn't a high converting medium for ads, but based off the data you're showing me, it says it is. So if you had to do something, you didn't get nothing out of Google, so why you put money into that?
Right.
You're just paying for somebody to click on your ad. But that's the type of stuff that people don't dive into the resources they have, either A, because they're lazy or they're too busy in their business and they don't know, or B, their salesperson didn't tell them that they have analytics that they can actually go check the metrics and measure the results they're getting.
Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, or, being oversold and underpromised, that the budget takes this much amount of money and the client says, well, I'm going to do this. And, you have to have the the wherewithal to basically say, hey, look, I'm going to walk away at this point because I know what it takes. And, you know, I've got XYZ customer that does your type of business. And I know, you know, we've seen it. We know it. You're not, you know, in 30 days,
you're away. Are you going to walk away? It's your third sale of the month to get your bonus and to get a commission so that you can pay your mortgage and feed your kids. Does the salesman walk away when it's right?
Well, we've talked about this.
I know.
Yeah, the audience doesn't know.
The audience don't know. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we're trying to say. Most salespeople will sell that to them regardless because they need the sale to pay their bills. So, sorry, sir, you're going to pay me $800 a month for the next 12 months so that I can pay my bills tomorrow.
But I'm glad you guys went there, because here's the other thing. There's the good, better, best. So when I was in radio, take them 3 things so that they'll buy the middle, because that's a sales trick, right? Here's 3 things that's the most expensive. And then this is the baby bear porridge. If you don't know when you get in that room, then your recommendation is just as big a guess as what they're thinking they're going to get out of it. I never bring anything to a meeting. I just walk in. Tell me a story. I always just tell me what you're about and what you want. The customer is going to tell you what they want. You can either get that result or you can't. Now, if you're selling beef jerky at $10 a pop and you got to spend $2,000, now I know what the math is to get you that result. But if I get you that result, I'm going to be thrilled because holy shit, who can do that? Mm-hmm. But you can't do it alone, right? So you bring in all your other weapons and you put everything behind it. If they quit at that point because I'm making so much money, you can't get attached. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I am not attached to products, services, or people. I'm attached to the process of it. So every time I'm talking to somebody and you guys aren't in the room, we got to talk to my buddy Shawn, or we got to bring Andrew in here, right? Because I need my guys to do it. A lot of times I got to bring Nate in here because I've got a vision for how we can make something, whether it's a podcast, a YouTube show, whatever it is. Bring everything you got with you because this will make you successful. Because over time you can grow that account. But if you just want to make a sale, bring 3 fucking things with you. Because someone's going to buy it and they're going to buy the middle. Do you know why we buy the middle?
Yeah, they don't want to be the poor guy.
Right. I'm not too cheap. And but I can't afford this. 80% of the time, they can't afford the one in the middle if it doesn't work. And you just went back and made a sale, like you said, to pay your mortgage or any of that other shit. It does not matter if it does not work. Mm-hmm. You will burn that person forever, and you will burn that entire industry. We know a guy that I had to bring in Shawn 4 times in 2 weeks to fix something. I didn't know the difference. I didn't know what I didn't know. And Shawn had to take over these 4 accounts because a company shut these things down. They were going like this. If you're listening, I'm pointing up. And then they went down into Hades. And Shawn was able to look at it at home and say, they've shut this off, this off, this off. We weren't able to save one of them. I mean, it's been harmed, like Shawn said, to the point where it's more of a hobby than it is a business now to this guy. If he ever digs out of this, I don't know how he will. I put that on me because I recommended the wrong person. But I never do that again. That's what I mean by building a team of people.
And the wrong person wasn't a bad person.
No.
Wasn't informed.
It was a
educated
bad
person.
product that he didn't understand.
And he was told to sell it.
But as a person, if this guy was here today, you'd like him. He's not. It's one of those things where you bought the person and you bought what you thought this person represented morally that didn't understand the thing that he had. Conversely, there's a lot of people that don't want me in a room because they don't want me to talk the way I talk. And they're just like, why do you have to talk like that? Because they get animated about it, but I want to let you know how this works. Other people are going to come in and kiss your ass. I'm not. I want you to know how this works so that my whole goal is to teach you. I will teach you everything you want to know. I do not care if you buy anything because I don't sell things. I buy things for people, and that's the difference. I don't care if you buy it. But if you buy it and it doesn't work, you're going to blame me and anybody associated with me. And that's why I only want to be around people that want to build things for people. You have to kind of be selfless in this process because what we're doing is making other people wealthy. You can't go, hey, man, I didn't get a part of that. Your job is to make other people money so they can pay their mortgage and take care of their kids and their mistress if they're so lucky.
And they'll take care of you.
Yeah, in the long run, it works.
You just can't be one sale away from making a paycheck in a month and put yourself in a bad position that you have to.
I feel like the way we described all this was communism. So it might not be, I don't think it's communism, but it sounded like if I do for you, you do for me. And we keep all the money in a pool. Andrew, go ahead.
I mean, I was just
He's got a pool.
no.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's a communist.
No, that too.
It's a totally different topic. Boys, I don't know how we did this, but somehow we blew through our time. Will you stay and do one more? They won't know if you say no. We'll cut that out. That's the only thing we'll edit.
Stay where? Today?
Yeah, we're just going to do
Give up
another one.
food.
Of yours.
Okay.
No, I'll take you
This
to
will be
lunch.
the first time ever if I give up food to talk more.
I know you're
I
not
am
going
the
to give
talker,
up
though.
food.
Huh?
You're not going to give up food or talking. But I'll buy Andrew's lunch and you can eat
Let me
off
ask
that.
my belly.
All right, that's all we have time for on Broad Street Radio. We'll see you next week.